Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, and today we're going to get to working on making something that I can reach way up and touch somebody, especially the mold that's growing on my house. I got vinyl siding on the second floor, and if you got vinyl siding, you get mold. So I'm tired of climbing on a ladder up there, and I'm getting old enough that I might start falling off of it or something. So I'm going to try to make a device where I can reach from the ground and spray bleach. I'll get to say it here in a minute. Spray bleach right onto the mold and wash it off of there. So I guess we'll get on with that. Of course, before I start making the thing, I'm going to go ahead and kill the mold that's easy to reach. The stuff that I can lean the ladder up and just get up to real quick. Next year, hopefully I'll have my little device setting in weight, and then I can just take it and mix up some bleach and go out there and stand on the ground and spray it all the way around the house. So it's hot, it's humid, it's Houston, and let's get on with it. As you can see, the garden is starting to produce pretty good. I get bunches of little cherry tomatoes out of there every day. Some days a bell pepper. Every now and then some radishes. Today I got quite a bit of okra I moved around here from these okra plants, especially the tall ones over there. And now and then we get some onions, and we're right on the edge of gathering in a bunch of peas. Alright, so back to the work. That is today's pickings from the garden, and that's a little previous day's pickings. The wife goes out every day, you know. Like a good boss, the boss lady picks up what should be picked and brings it in. There's not a lot of okra and beans there yet, but a freezer bag will hold that until you've got enough to cook. Well, you see that extension ladder and the bottles of bleach on the other side? That ain't there because I got a huge laundry to do. That's because of the mold, and I'll show you. Today is work outside and get caught up someday. That's not all that's in store today. I got the Harbor Freight pole saw out, and we're going to trim back on this crepe myrtle. It's trying to reach the house. And I've already got through weeding the garden. Alright, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, because I can't see this viewfinder worth a darn. But I believe if you look on the siding there, you'll see some black mold. Well, I've got a lot of that stuff on the house, and I've got to get it off. My neighborhood association doesn't approve of it, and so it's got to go. They've been pretty easy on me. I used to get a letter every year to go out and kill the mold, but I think the neighbor that was turning me in moved on. Now I'm all on my own. I gotta remember to do this myself. Now I know if you look up there real good, you can see the mold. There's lots of it all the way up there. Now this is a hard spot to get to because it's steep roof, and way up there. This part down the side I've already taken care of with a ladder, extension ladder. But this stuff here, this is what I'm making my mold killing device for, or at least I'm trying to. Well, here we are, a little past 5:30, and got all that in sprayed clean. Got the tree trimmed. Took the taro mower and mulched all the limbs. And it's a good thing I did this, because up there at the top of the ladder there's a spot where there's a big old piece of mortar big enough to stick my hand in flat waist. And I found an even worse thing on the other side of the chimney. I'll show you. There's the big hole in the mortar on this side of the fireplace. I'm going to leave the ladder up there because tomorrow, if we don't blow away or wash away, well, I'll probably still have these holes to fix. Alright, you see that spot? That brick, just 90% of it just dissolved. There's a hole I can stick my whole fist in, right in the middle of it, and at the end of it up against the wall, there's a hole about that big. I tried filling it up there with some quick drying cement, but I didn't have enough. And I wasn't moving fast enough either. I filled some of the cracks, you know, in the joints up above it. I managed to get some of those stuffed full of cement before the stuff got hard, but I didn't have enough cement, and it got too hard too quick. But you can see that's a big hole inside there. That's this is one of those Perry homes, you know. They built it out of the very best sand bricks that you could get. That plastic pipe's some of the material from my magic wand. The pump's supposed to be here, I think, by Friday, and the little short piece is for a special project. And I got this stuff done about 2 hours before. The weatherman says that the apocalypse is going to arrive, weather-wise that is, and it'll be here at 7 o'clock, and we're supposed to drown or blow away or something. So it's a good thing I got that much of it done. Alright, I'm doing this right here because it's convenient to the camera. I've dried off the ends, and I'm going to rough them up a little bit with this emery cloth. Just to be sure that the glue wants to stick really good in case there's any kind of dirty stuff on there. Of course, I may be messing it up worse, I don't know. I'm not an expert with this stuff. That looks like it might be alright. Move that back. Get my can of goodie. I'm going to lay it out here on the back of the truck under, and I'm putting something under it. Yeah. Well, that's on there. Yeah. Alright. So, I guess the best thing to do is just mirror it around there really good. Around there really good. Mirror it in here. Got about a whole can of glue just for that little bit, huh? Take a note. There it is. That's put together. All you do is wipe off a little bit on the outside here. Put this on the floor to catch whatever drips. And put my can of glue up where it can dry out before I ever need to use it again. I think that's the way it all, about 99% of every one of these cans just dries out on the shelf somewhere. Alright, now we get on to the next part. Well, like all projects, the parts after a while start to amount up. So anyway, I went to Redneck Supply and I got some fittings to make it possible to connect everything up. The pump delivered was probably about $25, you know, with shipping and all, and $30 at Redneck Supply to get hose and fittings, and probably, I don't know, $25 or something at Home Depot for the the plastic pipe. So excuse me, it all adds up pretty quick. Now what we're going to do is we're going to connect this hose to the suction side of this pump. I don't even know which side that is. I guess if I get it on the wrong side I'll discover, but you'd think they would have marked it someplace. And it's not marked. This little pump's supposed to put up 90 pounds of pressure. It's supposed to handle 40 feet of head. Now, pump head means the distance straight up from the pump that it will pump a column of liquid. So if you got 40 foot of pump head, that means it'll pump liquid 40 feet high. When it gets that high, there'll be zero pressure at the end, on the water. All the pressure will be at the bottom. So I'm hoping this will do pretty good. Anyway, they claim 0.65 MBPA, which is 92 pounds, something like that. 4 liters a minute. And it doesn't say on here, but they claim 40 foot ahead. Now, a pump can have suction head too. That's the pressure of the liquid column pushing down against the suction side of the pump. If you got you know, your liquid's at a higher level than the pump, well, then you get a little boost there coming into the pump, because you got add that suction head to the discharge head, and you know. Anyway, it's all fun. What we're going to do is we're going to put one of these little barbs in here, and they just barely fit, but they do fit. We worked this out at the hardware store, me and Bubba, and got that going. I don't know why they have these little things like that, but I'm going to go ahead and assemble these pieces, and then I'll wake you up from your nap. I almost forgot to buy any of these little clamps at the Redneck Supply, and when I did remember, I only bought 4, which means I came out too short and I had to go digging in my drawers to find some more. And anyway, so I've got it hooked onto the pump. This will go into the little chemical tank. This end right here with all the hose will go up that pipe and attach at the other end to the magic wand that was on the chemical tank. Now, I figure that I'll probably lose some part of it, because you know the handle part's too big to go up inside the hose. So we'll have to see how that clamps together. I haven't right at this moment figured out exactly how it's going to fasten onto the little spray nozzle. I sort of just stormed into this thing without a lot of thought, I guess. But anyway, I expect the spray nozzle will go into the end of this hose, and we'll clamp it on. Let me get outside and get everything strung together, and we'll get on with it. Oh, and I went over and hooked it on the battery, which is another thing I didn't show you. I took the battery out of the lawn tractor, because why buy a battery that's going to be used for, you know, half a day once a year, and then it'll probably be bad again next year, and you don't have any other use for it. So I'm going to use this one over here. Let me show you. That guy right there is out of the lawn tractor, and I've got him charging up. He wouldn't crank the lawn tractor, so he may actually be a dead battery. When I bought the mower, I read online people saying that after they stored it for the winter, the battery was dead. So we'll see. Okay, so at this point the idea almost works. I can clamp that onto the end of the hose without a problem. The big problem is that after gluing those 2 pieces of pipe together, and I took them outside, and they were as limp as a wet noodle. So now I've got to find something else, like I think maybe some aluminum tubing, aluminum conduit or something. I need something that's much more substantial, because the plastic pipe just won't cut it. It's way bad. So you guys may sleep for a couple of days while I look for a solution. I meant to mention something that I keep forgetting. I've been watching this YouTube channel where this young fellow that grew up in South Africa has moved to China. I guess he's been there, living there about 10 years. And he tours around China explaining what the sights and the customs and one thing or another. And I think it's pretty interesting. The name of this channel is Serpentza, S-E-R-P-E-N-T-Z-A. Strange name, I know. I'll try and put it down at the bottom of the screen there if I don't forget when I go to editing this stuff. But I just thought you guys might be interested in that. Alright, with my glasses on I can actually see the screen on this camera today because it's half dark. But anyway, even though that plastic pipe turned out to be a total disaster. I still am able to put my Rube Goldberg contraption together and use the pole to kind of prop it up against the roof. Let me see here. Okay, see if I can zoom in on it. I lean back some more. There we go. If it works, you ought to be able to see that. If it starts to drown the camera, that won't be good. I'm going to move the camera back some more. There. I'll re-aim the thing. There we are. Alright, so if anything works, you might see it. Alright, the water's heading up to the top. I can see it going up, and there we go. Look at that. Well, you can't look at that because it moved. Whoop. But it did it. It was spraying water out way up there at the top. So, at least that's proof of concept. I don't know if we can see any of it now. Alright, so I've got it back up there again. This time not quite as high. I wanted to see how long it'd take to pump out this 1.5 gallons of water here, because I know I'm going to have to restrict it a little bit, because you know, 1.5 gallons of bleach in a couple of minutes is not exactly what I want to blow through it. Kind of like a jet engine, it makes it move when it starts spraying, but by golly, it's actually spraying it. I don't know if you can see or not, and I definitely can't see in the viewfinder here. There we go. I think that's where it's at, somewhere along there. Anyway, I'm watching the 1.5 gallons of water, see what it's going to do, but we know it'll spray that high. Let's move over here and take a look at the water level, which is going down like crazy. Zoom this back so you can see it. I believe you can see the water level on the sides just about to the top of that H. And it's coming right on down. So a regular fog of water up there coming out of that thing, so it's spraying really well. I'll have to put myself a little on-off switch, because you know, I mean, that's pumping out pretty quick. I believe you can see the level is down to here now. And moving right on down. So the little pump turns out to be a winner. The battery over there may be not such a winner. I don't know. Well, the little pump's turning on and off. I don't know why. It may be that's an awful lot of resistance for it. Maybe it's getting hot. Maybe I got a loose connection on the battery, but it stopped turning on and off. Well, there it did it again, just then. Maybe my nozzle's not big enough. I've got a bigger nozzle. Okay, that's pretty much the end of the jug. As you can see, I still need drawers to put all this junk in, and that's going to have to be a project sooner or later. I've just got no room, you know. I wish I had a big place like Keith Rucker, but that's never to be. So I got to make drawers and other under the cabinet storage here to get the junk out of the way. Okay, so anyway, back to the sprayer. Obviously, I need to go and get some square steel tubing, and I don't know if I'm going to paint it or not. Whatever I use, the bleach is going to corrode the heck out of it, and it'll, you know, I can't paint inside the tube so good, so you know, it'll probably just eat the thing up in a couple of years. And then I'll have to get another piece of tubing. If I get aluminum, bleach eats it even faster, I think. So, okay, so anyway, I'll stop rattling off and go get some tubing. Well, $13 later and a trip to Steel Supply. And I've got some 3/4 inch square tubing. That should hold everything just right. Put that out in the sun, if there is any. And this does not flop over sideways. Like I say, it won't flop over sideways, and if I get so old that it gets too heavy to hold up, I'll have to come up with some mechanical aids. It's a little heavy, but most of the time I'll be leaning against the wall or something anyway, so at least I can work from the ground, and I can just set the bottom of it on the ground and spray it. So now I've got to make a holder, a case of some kind for the battery and place to mount the pump, and a remote switch. Only takes Lena down to the hospital, you know, to have their first child. So after the proceedings there and all, the doctor comes out and he tells Odie, he says, well, he says, got good news and bad news for you. He says, the good news is you got a healthy baby boy. He says, the bad news is he's a cesarean. So Odie, you know, he starts crying, you know, a little bit and sniffing there. And when he finally gets hold of him, he says, well, he says, I'm glad he's healthy, baby. He says, but I sure was counting on him being a Norwegian. Well, that's all, folks. Y'all try to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And above all, remember, keep on keeping on. Bye now.